Hey guys, hold on for a sec while I make sure everything's working right. Make sure everything's working right here. Learn everything. Pops up. Shouldn't be doing that right now. Here we go. Alright, sorry about that guys. Hopefully you can hear me right now. But what you see in front of you is something that I typed up last night and everything, because I wanted to give a more detailed discussion, essay if you will, on why, as I've said before, female characters are written to have more fun and be silly when given the power to turn invisible and shapeshift, or at least to an extent shapeshift. And I got this on DeviantArt. I'm not going to post it there on DeviantArt because I don't want to take a chance, something might happen and everything. So basically, I decided, I'm going to read it off to you guys instead. And you can read along with me here. But yeah, the title is, and I do apologize for any interruptions that may occur during this, if you will. I don't know if you guys can hear me or anything. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can hear me and everything. I'm sure you can. Just let me know, if you will. Just let me know if you can hear me. Yeah. I'm just making sure. Yeah. Just making sure you guys can hear me and all that. I also have my security camera app on, so because my mom's watching the Giants and the Rangers on Apple Plus TV right now. So anyway, the question. So obviously, again, you can see the title. It says, "Why female characters are written to have more fun and be silly when given the power to turn invisible and shapeshift. At least shapeshift to an extent." This is how it begins. And I'm going to scroll up just a little bit on here so you guys can see more. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Well, hold on. There we go. We'll start right there. And this is how it goes. And I quote. And I quote myself, because I typed this all up. I quote, "Well, it's quite simple. You see, it's because from what I've seen and heard, studios, creators, and book writers feel and believe that the female lead is more creative and imaginative and mischievous than the male lead. Why, you ask? Well, let's answer that, shall we?" And hold on for a sec. Just checking things, if you will. Now, up next is I give a various, highlighted, numbered of reasonings as to what I meant by the beginning here. In fact, if that's going to let me go full screen. Yeah, that's pretty bit. That's a little better. There we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. And you can even, see the title. I'm going to go back a little bit because I didn't want to do that. Okay, what happened here? Hold on, guys. That wasn't supposed to happen. Hold on. Where's what's the full? Okay, there's full screen again. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. Hopefully you guys can see that. But anyway, here are various reasons. First reason here, why? Why? Well, this is why, and I quote, "Well, as I said at the start, it's because from a mental standpoint, females seem to know how to have more fun with this power when it's given to them. and the examples I will bring up will probably tell you why that is. Well, the men are usually looked at and cast in roles where they use this power to get even with somebody, become peeping toms, go on murderous rampages if it's a horror story, commit robberies, etc. So, by going off that research, the screenwriters, studios, creators, book writers of said story will tend to lean in the direction of giving a female character these powers of invisibility, and then go off in the direction of making a more fun comedic story for everyone to enjoy. All because now they have their lead for the story foundation-wise. So yeah, those are various. So that's basically the reason why. Now on to the various examples. Number 2. Various examples. Number 2A. The Invisible Woman 1940 film. The film, I honestly have not seen much of, is a classic comedy film with a tutorial character having the power of invisibility, and from what I've understood, does have all the fun I mentioned at the start throughout the film. Now, those of you that have fully seen the film can correct me if I'm wrong in any way, but this is one example. Alright, going on to the next one. To B, or B, if you will, category B, Topper, 1940s comedy film series. Pretty much everything I've said for the first entry can be applied here. And again, if I'm wrong in any matter, please feel free to correct me. Number C, The Invisible Woman, 1983 made-for-TV movie pilot. And another great example of where the character, even though she wants to be normal again, has fun with this powers she now has. I mean, there are various comedic scenes where she's trying to be normal with these powers, and it comes off as very funny. Heck, when she applies makeup to try and look normal, she's having fun with her current situation. Now, if you want to watch the full movie pilot, you can find it on YouTube, last I saw. Okay, number D, or category D. The Invisible Kid, 1988 teen comedy. In this film, the main character, played by Jay Underwood, recreates his late father's invisibility formula, and he and his friend use it to cause trouble at school and mostly, as I said earlier, peep on the girls' locker room. However, we also have another character, the girl next door and the love interest of Jay's character, played by Wilson Phillips' own China Phillips. Now, I bring her up because there is a scene where she brings the formula back to Jay, and upon hearing what it can do, wants to try it herself. So she does, only if she keeps it a secret. I forgot to put the word "it" in there, but that's fine. So she does, only if she keeps a secret, which she agrees to do. So when she tries it, she's in awe of what it can do. And then, after informing Jay's character of knowing about him and his friend running around naked at school due to them being invisible at the time, which of course surprises Jay, she decides to have a little fun and do an invisible strip show by removing all her clothes till there is nothing left but air. In this moment, and this is why I'm focusing more on it than the previous three, is probably the best example of what I mentioned at the beginning about why female characters are always the first choice of story writers, screenwriters of any kind to go with by giving them the power of invisibility. Moving on. And let's read that. Let's give you a chance to read all that right there if you want to. Yeah, that's basically what I just read there. So if you want to read that yourself, go ahead. Alright, number E. The Invisible Mom 1 and 2 and Moms Out of Sight, made for Disney Channel / TV films. These three films kind of blend both of what I said of the first two entries, Invisible Woman and Topper, and the one on China Phillips' character from Invisible Kid. Basically, all the moms in these films go invisible and do return to normal at the end, but in the meantime, there are moments where they decide to have some fun with the power they temporarily have. And number F, if you will. Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 6, Episode 11, entitled Gone. Here, in the second to last season of the show, Buffy gets accidentally zapped by a ray that turns her invisible for most of the episode. But instead of worrying about how she'll be restored, she instead decides to have fun with this power and with everyone she knows. Hold on for a sec. Alright, continuing on. Hold on. Instead of checking something. But okay, getting back to what I was saying. Number F, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 6, Episode 11, entitled Gone. Here in the second to last season of the show, Buffy gets accidentally zapped by a ray that turns her invisible for most of the episode. But instead of worrying about how she'll be restored, she instead decides to have fun with this power and with everyone she knows. And even has a sexual encounter with Spike, where she explains to him that she is free of life and responsibility because of this power she now has. Now, of course, she gets restored at the end, but still, this is another example with what she says to Spike after the sexual moment, of what I said previously at the start and in detail with the Invisible Kid and China's character there. And that's basically the fact that Buffy is having fun with this opportunity she currently has, and she's going to make most of it. So, yeah, basically, you would think in a show like Buffy the Vampire Slayer that, she would be more like, hey, how am I going to get back to normal? No, she decides to have fun with it. She decides to basically, have fun with her friends. As I've mentioned before, she takes like 2 baseballs, puts them next to a female friend of hers, making them act like eyeballs, takes a skull next to the male friend, and all that. And then she has the sexual encounter with Spike, to the point when one of the other characters in the show, Xander, tries to talk to Spike about finding out what what Buffy is. Buffy is basically kind of still wanting to have sexual fun with him by basically groping his body and giving him a BJ, if you know what I mean, seemingly while he's talking to Xander. Now, continuing on. Number 3. Another example similar to women being given the power of invisibility, shapeshifting. This here is one great example similar to the invisibility trope, as to why women are the first chosen to have this power by writers, studios, etc. Now, here's the examples. 1. Being able to anything the mind comes up with. So this goes with the creative side mostly, because a female will know almost instantly what to become faster than whatever a male can come up with. Various examples I know of are from stories off DeviantArt and Patreon, where the lead female characters are shapeshifters and will in a snap, we're going to move that up here, almost be able to come up with whatever creative change the mind can come up with. These examples I speak of are Mr. Internet Man's Veronica Demonica character from his Mystic Makeover series, Trouble TRO, and their various shape-shifting femme fatales from their various Patreon-exclusive web comics. The same can be said for Joven16 on Patreon, as well as with the likes of Nickstat as well, along with the likes of folks like Nickstat as well. Number 2. Being able to melt, turn into a puddle. Okay, number 2. Being able to melt / turn into a gooey puddle. This is something going back to the likes of Triple TRO, Joven16, Nextat on Patreon, that their characters will use for sexual encounters, most of the time. Same with Mr. Internet Man's Demonica Veronica character on occasions. Number 3. Becoming different people to have fun with or disguise themselves as. This goes back to the first one here. Women who will have this power more than likely will change into different women, heck, even different men to disguise themselves or have fun with in a role-playing manner, like in front of a mirror when they're first discovering how to use their powers. And we'll let you look at that right there. Got a little ahead of myself. Okay, moving on to number 4, and this is a small one. Examples probably coming in future projects. If you've been on the internet over the past few years, you may have heard of various projects that will feature invisible women characters, lead or not. Some of these projects seem to be heading in the more comedic direction, and if that is true, then you could probably expect these invisible women characters to have fun with their powers in some way or another. Number 5. Invisible women in adult softcore porn films. Yes, believe it or not, there are movies out there that are like that. I mean, sure, the effects may not be the best, especially when these films came out, but yes, there are adult / softcore porn films that feature an invisible woman lead getting it on with both male and female co-stars. Sure, if any are out there today, I should have put out, I'm sorry about that. Sure, if any are out there today, the effects, no doubt, have improved greatly. But again, if you're curious, these films do exist, or will sooner rather than later. Closing. The point I wanted to make here was, and I mean no offense when I say this, but no matter how you look at it, when it comes to the invisibility stories of any media, and even shapeshifting to an extent, female characters are always going to be chosen to be given this power over male characters. Because like I said at the start, screenwriters, story writers, book writers, studios, etc., from their mental point of view, will see the female character as more creative, imaginative, and mischievous, and thus they will know how to use these powers in any way possible. This even includes usage in adult softcore porn films as well. Anyway, I hope I did my best, as in this more detailed, less jumbled essay, to explain why female characters, lead or not, are always chosen to have the powers of invisibility and, to an extent, shapeshifting. Your comments and feedback are welcome. And that's pretty much about it on that. And I do have the papers, you can hear them. But the point I'm getting at with this, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I shrink this back down a little bit, I gotta go back over to here and go back to here and everything, if it lets me. Here we go. Yeah. There we go. But yeah, okay. That's not it. How did I fit this thing before? That's so weird. There we go. But yeah, basically, that's how you got to look at it, kind of, if you will. It's kind of how you have to look at it as I bring it back over here. That's kind of how you have to look at it, if you will. Hold on for a second. But like I said, that's how you look at it, if you will. No matter how you feel about it, okay? No matter how you feel about it, the female characters, or female actresses, if you will, or female characters in stories, female OCs, whatever, they're always going to get chosen. They're always going to get chosen because, unlike the male, they are more creative. They are more, they're more creative, mischievous, imaginative than a male can. Because like I explained here, if a male is given, that opportunity, hold on for a second. Just hold on. But like I said, as I said here in the description, and I've said it before in the other videos, but as I said more details here, when a male character or actor is put into this role, it's usually because that character that gets the power wants to get even with somebody, or they want to be peeping toms on girls or women's locker rooms or shower rooms, or they want to go on murderous rampage if the story is a thriller or a horror story, or they want to commit robberies and stuff like that. But with the female, most of the time, and I say this with all due respect, no offense, the female character is always, always more creative, fun, imaginative, mischievous, with these kind of powers, invisibility and shapeshifting than the male is. Because, the minds, are more, are working more than the males, or more active, if you will. So that's it. Hold on, I'll be right back. I was double checking something. This is what, as I've mentioned many times before here on Twitch and on YouTube, this is what happens when you live with family or live with your parents. You got to be a little careful. But like I said, with the female actress or the female character created for it, it's because their minds are always active, if you will. They're always like thinking, constantly, like like what can I do next, and anything, what can I come up with next. So to me, that's why basically, in my honest opinion, that's why, as I double check them there, that's why they get chosen. That's why they have these opportunities given to them. So whether it's whether they're chosen for the role, the lead role, or co-starring role in a show or a movie, live action, animated, CGI, whatever, that's why. Or if they're created, as an original character OC for said, for said situation, in an original story or anything, that's why they're put into these moments, if you will. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and everything, and just wanted to come on here and give you, like I said, a more detailed version with better explanation and all that as to what I've said before. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. You will get this on my podcast on Spotify. Help me out there, it'd be a big help. And then this weekend on YouTube. Until next time, guys, take care. I'm out.